Hey church, welcome to another KO Short Devotional video. My name is Brett, it says it on the wall, and today we're going to be continuing on our journey on learning and understanding the fruit of the Spirit. Now, which one are we going to be talking about today? It is joy. It's going to be such a light-hearted, happy video. It's going to be just an all-round great time. Now, joy is one of those feelings that you feel so empowered when it hits you. You know, you feel absolutely amazing. It's such a great emotion. But we do need to remember that it is an emotion. You know, we can't just out of thin air. We can't pluck it. We can't manufacture it. We can't just pull it out of nothing. It's not how emotions work. But I would also like to kind of feathering off that talk about one commonly misunderstood thing, and that is that happiness and joy are the same thing, because they're not. And you may be like, well, Brett, kind of like, when I'm happy I feel joyful and whatnot. And well, yeah, maybe, but happiness is a circumstantial thing, in the sense of, say if Panic at the Disco were playing next week at the O2 and you managed to get some tickets, you'll be like, yes, Panic at the Disco are playing and I'm so happy that I got these tickets. And as we all know, for me, if I got my new car next week, I would be so happy. I'd be over the moon, but I wouldn't be joyful. It's just a bunch of circumstances coming into my life that are making me happy or you happy. Happiness is circumstantial, but joy is based on Christ. You know, joy is given to us through the Spirit, hence it being a fruit. So, Scripture actually tells us how to be more open and more receptive to joy. One thing that brings us joy is being righteous. Now, I'm not talking about self-righteousness. You know, we don't go out of our way to go and be righteous just so we can receive these great things that God can give us. We are righteous simply because we love God and we want to obey Him. And I'd like to turn your attentions to Ecclesiastes chapter 2 verses 26. And it says, "For God giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom and knowledge and joy." So when we live a life that pleases God, when we walk with the Spirit, we receive that joy. You know, we just love God and walk with Him, and we will receive that joy. Another thing that can bring us joy is Scripture. Now it says in 1 John chapter 1 verses 4, "We wrote this to bring joy." So the whole kind of premise of the Bible, it brings us joy. You know, we learn so much about the promise of God, you know, His wisdom, you know, how Jesus died for us. You know, just for all of us, He did all of these things, and that brings us so much joy, just learning how amazing God is. Now, God shows us that another way that we can receive joy is through justice. Now, it's a bit of a weird one, but I'm not talking about, you know, Batman Dark Knight, like justice kind of thing. You know, an eye for an eye. I'm not talking about that. God's justice is restoring things to how they were originally intended to be. You know, like loving thy neighbour and, you know, forgiving people as the Lord forgave you. And those are just like a handful of things of how we can receive joy. Now, if I was to kind of like give a brief, what should I be taking away from this, Brett? Like, what should, you know, I really want to kind of know. I would say, love God, try to live a life that pleases Him, and that joy will be given to you. Walk with the Spirit. At the end of the day, it is a fruit of the Spirit. Walk with the Spirit and you will receive joy, and it will just put a huge smile on your face. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of The Fruit of the Spirit. I've had a real fun time filming it, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.